What's going on, everybody? Bob's the 1984 back again, and Newcastle have actually pulled out a good performance and drawn 3-3 at home to Manchester United. Where do you start on a game like that? I mean, it was so unexpected. I was saying today to the people at work, I was saying, didn't expect anything other than two boring shit teams who can't score goals to go at it, and it'll probably end up being 0-0. How fucking wrong was that? I thought in the first half Newcastle were really tentative, really subdued. Man United obviously weren't much better, but the penalty obviously after 9 minutes takes the wind out your sails, and it was a really harsh penalty. I know Mbemba jumped up with his arm half in the air, but he was more feeling for where Fellaini was, and it was so soft, it was unbelievable. But Mike Dean's that kind of referee. He'll give those sort of decisions even if there's only like a half and half in his head. Rooney steps up, takes the penalty, in Newcastle you think, for fuck's sake. After a decent first 5 minutes as well, 1-0 down. And, Wijnaldum, I'm talking a little bit later in the half, because there wasn't really much else in the first half for us to shout about. Wijnaldum has an unreal chance. The ball gets dropped down from a long ball forward by Mitrovic. Dropped down from Mitrovic, and all he has to do is think about where he's putting the ball with a bit of power, and he tries to pass it past De Gea, and De Gea just makes an easy save. And you think, Newcastle are going to get a better chance than that to actually get a goal. We haven't scored for 4 games. And what happens just before half time? A very similar sort of play. All half I'm screaming at somebody to try and support Mitrovic. He was so isolated in that formation. All he needed was somebody to be stood next to him, basically, for all the knockdowns that he can win. He doesn't win them all, but he wins most of them. And this knockdown was absolutely perfect. And the finish was superb from Wijnaldum, right in the bottom corner. De Gea stood absolutely no chance. And that was to bring us into the game. Back into the game after going 2-0 down. Obviously, I didn't talk about the second goal, but it was more evidence of more poor defending from Newcastle, but it was also a lightning quick counter attack from Man United. Rooney sprinting all the way down the pitch, and he just basically cuts the ball back for Lingard, and Lingard just blasts it through the legs of Rob Elliott. No chance whatsoever. We were 2-0 down at that point, obviously. Then Wijnaldum scored. I don't know what Steve McLaren said to the players at half time, but whatever he said clearly worked, because we came up with a completely different attitude, more pressure on Man United, more going forward, more attacking play, some creativity, and it brought its results via the penalty spot. The corner coming in, Chris Smalling's literally rugby tackling Mitrovic to the floor, and it's an easy decision for Mike Dean. So he's given a penalty to us, but ours was definite, and he's given a penalty to them for a very, very, very shady handball. Mitrovic steps up, and I was so pleased to see Mitrovic step up and take it, because he's been getting a lot of flack for his missed chances. Now, they are chances that he should have maybe scored, but the guy's isolated in the formation that we're currently playing. He's got no creativity. He's relied upon to get loads of knockdowns, Shearer-esque, and he does do that job, but you can tell he doesn't thrive on being a sole striker. So I was glad that he got the ball and he coolly finishes the penalty for a 2-2. I'm hoping it gives him a bit more confidence to kickstart. I thought he had a good game today. I thought the only player that was really poor for Newcastle, I think, today was Sissoko. He just wasn't in the game. It was a typical Sissoko performance. He just so lacklustre, and Perez was really poor for as well. For a change, he's not normally quite that poor. But anyway, Man United. From then, obviously making it 2-2, you think there's only one team that can go on and win this, and it's Newcastle. The pressure was going on, the crowd were into it, and then the ball goes up the other end, and basically it's Depay. He cuts in, he tries to get a shot away, gets blocked, and the ball hits off Dummett, and Rooney, an absolute world-class finish. You've got to hold your hands up when a player strikes a ball so sweetly and into the top corner, and you think, 79 minutes, Newcastle are done here. There's no way we can come back. Newcastle for the next 10 minutes were really flat. You could tell the goal knocked the stuffing out of them. They put all the effort into the second half, and then we'll pop up Paul Dummett I'm not going to say it was a worldie because it was a deflection, but I was, it was, if ever Newcastle deserved to score a goal, it was then, and it was an absolute perler in the fact that it went right in the top corner, but it was a mighty deflection off Smalling. But Newcastle got the 3-3, were held on with a thoroughly entertaining game. I think, Man United fans who have been falling asleep at Old Trafford probably say we did deserve a draw. They did enough to deserve a draw. It was a good game. The second half performance was some of the best football I've seen Newcastle play all season. I just hope we can kickstart and we can actually grind out a result against West Ham on Saturday. But well done, lads. Very, very proud of that second half performance. There's more of that needed in the future. What did you guys all think? Who was your man of the match? Mine personally, I think it's going to have to be the Wijnaldum and maybe Mitrovic, but I'm only saying that because I think they played really well in terms of being given rules of an attacking role in a team, especially in that first half, which was no creativity, but they both played well for me. So yeah, leave some comments. Tell us who your player of the match was, what you think we can do going forward, how good the result was, how well we played, and if you like the video, please give a like and hit that subscribe button. My name is Bobster1984, and I'll see you later.